The clock on the wall showed 7:30 p.m. when Maya wiped down another table at Bella Vista restaurant. Her feet were already sore from the lunch shift, but she had no choice but to keep going. The dinner crowd was just getting started, and she needed every dollar she could make. Maya had been working at this little Italian place for almost 4 months now. It wasn't her dream job, but it paid the bills. Well, most of them anyway. Her mom had been sick for a while, and the medical bills kept piling up. Between her job at the restaurant and her morning shift at the local bookstore, Maya barely had time to sleep. She was only 24, but sometimes she felt much older. All her friends from high school had gone to college and were starting their careers. Maya had wanted to study music. She had even been accepted to a good music school 3 years ago. But when her dad left and her mom got sick, someone had to take care of things. That someone was Maya. The restaurant had a piano in the corner. It was old and a bit out of tune, but it still worked. Most nights, Mr. Antonio would hire someone to play soft music during dinner. It made the place feel fancy, he said. People liked eating with nice music in the background. Tonight felt different, though. The restaurant was quieter than usual. Maya noticed that customers seemed restless. They kept checking their phones and looking around. Some finished their food quickly and left. Others just picked at their meals. The piano sat silent in its corner. Maya had walked past it hundreds of times over the past months. Every time she saw it, something stirred inside her chest. Her fingers would twitch slightly, remembering. She tried not to think about it too much. Those days were behind her now. When she was little, her grandmother had taught her to play. They would sit together at the old upright piano in Grandma's living room for hours. Maya loved those afternoons. Her grandmother's hands were gentle and patient as she showed Maya where to put her fingers. Later, Maya got serious about music. She took lessons and practiced every day. Her teacher said she had real talent. She could play classical pieces that made grown-ups cry. She could also play jazz and popular songs that made people smile and tap their feet. But that was before. Everything changed. Before her dad left with his secretary. Before her mom got diagnosed with diabetes and high blood pressure. Before the bills started coming and someone had to work to pay them. Now Maya carried plates instead of playing scales. She served breadsticks instead of performing concerts. And that old piano in the corner just reminded her of everything she had given up. As she cleared another table, Maya heard Mr. Antonio on the phone in his office. His voice sounded worried. She could tell something was wrong, but she kept working. There were still 6 tables to clean before the next group of customers arrived. The evening was just beginning, but Maya already felt tired. She had no idea that in just a few hours, everything in her life would change completely. Maya was stacking dirty plates when she heard Mr. Antonio's voice getting louder. He was still on the phone, but now he sounded upset. She couldn't help but listen as she worked nearby. "What do you mean you can't make it?" Mr. Antonio was saying. "We have a full house tonight. Friday is our busiest evening." Maya realized he was talking to the piano player. Every Friday night, an older man named Giuseppe came to play dinner music. Customers loved him. He played beautiful Italian songs and classic American tunes. People often stayed longer just to listen to his music. No, I understand you're sick," Mr. Antonio continued. "But what am I supposed to do? People expect music on Friday nights. It's what makes us special." Maya watched as Mr. Antonio hung up the phone and put his head in his hands. She felt bad for him. He was a good boss who really cared about his restaurant. He had hired Maya when she desperately needed work, even though she had no experience serving tables. "Everything okay, Mr. Antonio?" Maya asked as she passed his office. He looked up with sad eyes. "Giuseppe is sick with the flu. He can't come tonight. I've called 3 other piano players, but everyone is busy. Friday night and we'll have no music." Maya nodded and kept working, but her mind was spinning. She knew how much the music meant to the restaurant's atmosphere. Without it, the place would feel empty and cold. Customers might not stay as long or order dessert and coffee. As the evening went on, Maya could see what Mr. Antonio had been worried about. The dining room felt flat without music. Conversation seemed quieter. People ate faster and left quicker. She could see the disappointment in Mr. Antonio's face every time another table finished early. Around 8:30, Maya found herself cleaning tables near the piano. She stopped and really looked at it for the first time in months. It was a beautiful instrument, dark wood with ivory keys that had yellowed slightly with age. She remembered Giuseppe telling her once that it was over 50 years old. Without thinking, Maya reached out and touched one of the keys. It made a soft, clear sound. Then she pressed another key and another. Before she knew it, she was playing a simple melody with one finger. Her heart started beating faster. It had been so long since she had touched a piano. Her hands remembered the feeling, even after all this time. She looked around to make sure no one was watching, then sat down on the bench. Maya put both hands on the keys and played a few chords. They sounded good together. The piano was a little out of tune, but not bad. She could work with this. Maya. She jumped and turned around. Mr. Antonio was standing there watching her. "I'm sorry," she said quickly, standing up. "I shouldn't have touched it." But Mr. Antonio looked curious, not angry. "You can play?" Maya felt her cheeks get warm. "A little. I used to take lessons when I was younger." "How much younger?" he asked. "I played for about 12 years, Maya said quietly. "I stopped a few years ago." Mr. Antonio's eyes got wide. 12 years? That's not a little, that's a lot. Maya shrugged. "It was a long time ago. Would you?" Mr. Antonio hesitated. "Would you consider playing tonight? Just for a few hours? I'll pay you extra, of course." Maya's stomach jumped. Play in front of all these people? She hadn't performed for anyone in years. What if she messed up? What if she forgot how to play? What if everyone stared at her? But then she looked around the quiet dining room and saw how different it felt without music. She thought about Mr. Antonio, who had given her a job when she needed one. She thought about the customers who came here expecting something special. "Okay," she said before she could change her mind. "I'll try." Maya's hands were shaking as she untied her apron. Mr. Antonio took it from her with a big smile on his face. He looked more excited than nervous, which made Maya even more scared. "Just play whatever you want," he said. "Don't worry about making mistakes. Everyone will just be happy to hear some music." Maya nodded, but inside her stomach was doing flips. She walked slowly to the piano bench and sat down. The dining room was about half full with families and couples enjoying their Friday night dinner. Most of them weren't paying attention to her yet. She put her hands on the keys and took a deep breath. What should she play first? Something easy, she decided. Something she knew she could get through without embarrassing herself. Maya started with a simple song her grandmother had taught her years ago, Moon River, slow and pretty with a melody that was hard to mess up. Her fingers felt stiff at first, but after a few notes, muscle memory kicked in. The song flowed out gentle and sweet. Maya kept her eyes on the keys, afraid to look up and see people watching her. But after a minute, she could hear that conversations were getting quieter. People were starting to listen. When she finished Moon River, there was a moment of silence. Then she heard some clapping from a table near the window. Maya looked up and saw an older couple smiling at her. The woman gave her an encouraging nod. Maya felt a little braver. She decided to try something with a bit more rhythm. She launched into The Way You Look Tonight, but played it in a jazzy style with some extra notes and different timing. This was more fun. She could add her own personality to the music. Now more people were definitely listening. Maya could see heads turning in her direction. A family with 2 young kids had stopped eating their pizza to watch her play. The children were smiling and swaying a little in their chairs. As Maya played, something amazing started happening. All those years of practice, all those hours at her grandmother's piano, all those lessons and recitals. They were still there inside her fingers. It was like riding a bike. Her body remembered what to do. She moved into Autumn Leaves, adding some complicated runs and chord changes that impressed even herself. Maya was surprised by how good it felt to make music again. She had forgotten how playing piano made her feel complete, like this was what she was meant to do. By now, the whole restaurant was listening. Conversations had stopped completely. Even the waiters and kitchen staff had come out to hear her play. Maya could feel all those eyes on her, but instead of making her nervous, it made her want to play even better. Mr. Antonio was standing by the bar with the biggest grin she had ever seen. He caught her eye and gave her a thumbs up. Maya smiled back and felt her confidence growing even more. She finished Autumn Leaves with a flourish that made several people clap. Maya was starting to feel like her old self again, the girl who had dreamed of performing on stage, who had felt music in her bones. "Beautiful," called out a man from across the room. "Play another one." Maya looked around the restaurant. Everyone was looking at her expectantly, waiting to see what she would do next. She had their attention now. She had proven she could play simple songs without making mistakes. But deep inside, Maya felt something stirring, a desire to show these people what she could really do, what she had been capable of before life got in the way. She took another deep breath and put her hands back on the keys. This time she was going to play something that would surprise everyone, including herself. Maya closed her eyes for a moment and let her mind drift back to her last piano recital. She had been 17 then, still dreaming of music school. The piece she had played that night was one of the most difficult in classical piano, Rachmaninoff's Piano Concerto No. 2. Her teacher had been amazed that Maya could handle such a complex piece at her age. The concerto required not just technical skill, but emotional depth. It told a story through music, sometimes gentle and sweet, sometimes powerful and dramatic. Maya opened her eyes and looked out at the restaurant full of people. They were all watching her, waiting. She could play it safe and stick to simple songs, or she could show them what years of serious training had given her. Her hands found the opening chords of the Rachmaninoff. The first notes rang out clear and strong, immediately different from anything she had played so far. This wasn't dinner music. This was concert hall music. The melody began soft and mysterious, like a question being asked. Maya's left hand played the deep bass notes while her right hand carried the beautiful, haunting tune. She could feel the restaurant getting even quieter as people realized they were hearing something special. As the piece developed, Maya's playing became more confident and expressive. Her fingers flew across the keys with precision she didn't know she still possessed. The music swelled and grew, filling every corner of the dining room. Maya forgot where she was. She forgot about being tired, about her sore feet, about the medical bills waiting at home. Right now there was only her and the piano and this incredible music that seemed to pour out of her soul. The concerto built to its first big climax, and Maya attacked the keys with power and passion. Her whole body was involved now, leaning into the dramatic parts, pulling back for the tender moments. This was why she had fallen in love with piano in the first place. She could hear gasps from some tables as she navigated the most difficult passages flawlessly. These weren't just pretty melodies anymore. This was virtuoso-level playing that demanded years of training and natural talent. Maya reached the famous romantic section in the middle of the piece. Here, the music became achingly beautiful, full of longing and hope. She played it with such feeling that she could see some people wiping their eyes. A woman at a nearby table had put her hand over her heart. The kitchen staff had all come out now and were standing at the edge of the dining room, staring in amazement. Mr. Antonio looked like he couldn't believe what he was hearing. His waitress, the girl who served breadsticks and cleaned tables, was playing like a professional concert pianist. As Maya moved into the final section of the concerto, the music became triumphant and joyful. Her hands danced across the keys in runs and arpeggios that took incredible skill to execute. But for Maya, it felt as natural as breathing. She built to the final thunderous conclusion, her whole body moving with the rhythm. The last chord rang, out strong and clear, filling the restaurant with its power. For a moment there was complete silence. Maya sat at the piano bench, breathing hard, her heart pounding. She slowly looked up at the dining room. Every single person was staring at her. Mouths hung open. Forks were forgotten halfway to lips. Children were wide-eyed with wonder. Then the applause started. It began with one person clapping, then spread through the entire restaurant like wildfire. People stood up from their tables. They were cheering and calling out, "Bravo!" Some were taking pictures and videos with their phones. Maya felt tears running down her cheeks. She had forgotten how good it felt to share her gift with others, to see the joy and amazement on people's faces when they heard beautiful music. But what happened next surprised her even more than her own performance. As the applause died down, Maya stood up from the piano bench on shaky legs. She couldn't believe what had just happened. For a few minutes, she had felt like her old self again, the musician she used to be before life got complicated. People were coming up to her now, wanting to talk. A businessman in an expensive suit shook her hand and said he had never heard anything so beautiful in a restaurant. A family with teenagers took a selfie with Maya, saying they had to tell their friends about this amazing piano player they discovered. But then a woman in a stylish black dress approached. She looked different from the other customers. More professional, more serious. She handed Maya a business card. "My name is Lisa Chen," the woman said. "I work for Sterling Records in New York. I was here having dinner with my family when I heard you play. That was extraordinary." Maya looked at the business card, confused. "Sterling Records? We're a music label," Lisa explained. "We work with classical artists and crossover musicians. What I just heard was professional level playing. Have you ever recorded any music?" Maya shook her head, still in shock. "No, I just work here. I serve tables." Lisa smiled. "Well, you shouldn't just be serving tables. You have incredible talent. I'd like to talk to you about some opportunities." Before Maya could respond, Mr. Antonio rushed over with his cell phone in his hand. His eyes were huge with excitement. "Maya, you have to see this," he said, showing her the screen. "Someone posted a video of you playing on social media. Look at this." Maya watched as a customer's phone recording of her performance played on Mr. Antonio's screen. The video showed her playing the Rachmaninoff with complete concentration and skill. It looked professional, like something from a concert hall. "Already has 1,000 likes," Mr. Antonio said, "and it was only posted 20 minutes ago." Over the next hour, Maya watched in amazement as the video spread across the internet. Different people had recorded her performance from different angles, and they were all sharing their videos. Comments poured in from people all over the world, praising her playing and asking who she was. By the end of the evening, the main video had been viewed over 50,000 times. Local news stations were calling the restaurant wanting to interview Maya. A talent agent from Los Angeles had sent her a message through social media. Lisa Chen stayed until closing time, talking to Maya about the music industry. She explained how social media had changed everything for artists. "Sometimes all it takes is one viral moment," Lisa said. "One performance that shows people what you can do." Maya's phone kept buzzing with notifications. People were sharing her story, the waitress who amazed everyone with her hidden talent. Some comments made her cry happy tears. One person wrote, "This gives me hope that it's never too late to follow your dreams." A week later, Maya's life looked completely different. The video had been viewed over 2 million times. She had been interviewed on 3 local TV shows and 2 podcasts. Music schools were reaching out with scholarship offers. Most importantly, Lisa Chen had arranged for Maya to audition with several music programs and recording companies. Mr. Antonio had been incredibly supportive. He organized a fundraiser at the restaurant to help with Maya's mom's medical bills. The community responded with such generosity that not only were the bills paid, but Maya had enough money to pursue her music education without worrying about finances. 3 months later, Maya performed her first official concert at the city's main concert hall. The tickets sold out in 2 days. Half the audience were people who had seen her viral video and wanted to hear her play in person. As she sat at the grand piano on stage that night, Maya thought about how much her life had changed. She was no longer hiding her talent or putting her dreams aside. She was doing what she was meant to do, sharing the gift of music with the world. The last year had taught Maya something important. Sometimes life takes you away from your dreams, but if you're patient and ready for the right moment, those dreams can come back in ways you never expected. All it took was one evening, one piano, and the courage to show the world who she really was. Now Maya was living proof that it's never too late to start over and follow your heart.